Ooh, presents from Amazon. I like presents from Amazon. How you doing? My name is Chris. Welcome to my shop. I feel like today's video should start with a disclaimer. So I'm going to give you one. Stand by while the lawyer in me covers his rear end. What you're about to see today are my opinions and my opinions alone. The products that we're going to use and talk about today are very strictly regulated by a governmental agency near you. I guarantee it. My suggestion to you, actually, I'm going to tell you. If you are going to use any of these products and you're going to sell to the general public, follow the governmental guidelines that are within your district or, that govern you. Don't veer away from them. And there's two reasons for that. One, because you don't want to get anybody sick. And secondly, because you don't want to open yourself up for liability in case that person wants to feign their sickness and take you to court. Follow the governmental guidelines that govern the products we're going to talk about today. That is my honest advice. That said, I think some of those governmental guidelines are a load of crap, but we'll talk about that in a second. What finishes can you use that are food safe? Headed your way next. All right. Do you mind? Because if you mind, I'll ignore you. Let me put my Amazon away. Food safe finishes. I'm going to tell you right now that these, like I mentioned before, this is my opinion, and only my opinion. You need to do your own research and find out what you feel safe with and what you don't feel safe with. I'm going to tell you today what I feel safe with, personally. I'm not telling you or I'm not even suggesting that you do what I'm telling you. I'm just telling you this is how I feel. And I'm not saying it out of, blind ignorance. I've done my homework here, but I've done my homework that makes me feel good. You do your own. I'm serious about that. What you see in front of me is our three products that are going to come in contact with food in one way, shape, or form. Something that I consume is going to come from each one of these pieces, whether it's a liquid, maybe even just a salad, or meat that I'm going to be cutting up on a cutting board. These are all going to come in contact with food. What finishes are going to kill me or get me sick, and what finishes won't? That's the bottom line. In my house, I can tell you that every single one of the finishes that are on each one of these pieces, I don't have a problem with. Otherwise, I wouldn't have applied them in the first place. This salad bowl, which has seen better days, was finished and needs to be refinished again in beeswax. This mug was made, and if you look on the inside of this mug, I don't know if you can tell from the camera shot or not, but it's got a nice shiny interior. It's clean. It allows me to wash it under warm and soapy water and then dry it off by hand. The interior of this is epoxy. The exterior finish on this is polyurethane. Now, does the Food and Drug Administration say that either one of these are food safe finishes? No, probably not. Actually, I know they don't. They would not suggest that you make this and sell this to the general public. There are actually rules governing that you're saying that you shouldn't. This cutting board, if you take a look at this cutting board, it's got a real nice shine on it. It looks like it's got a film-based finish on it. I can tell you that it does not. The process of finishing the cutting board this way is a process that I've kind of developed over the years, and before I take sole credit for it, I want to make sure that nobody else has already developed this before me. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what this is. I'll tell you roughly. It's a combination of wax and a combination of oils, and there's a lot of hand rubbing that goes into this. And I'll be quite honest with you, this finish, while 100% natural, 100% food safe, according to my government, isn't worth the effort. Because after about 5 uses, that nice shiny sheen that you see there, it goes away. So until I can figure out how to make it durable, there's no point in even talking about it. But let's talk about what the government's, or at least my government, says isn't food safe, that I consider actually, you know what, I think it is. If you go to a store, any store, and you pick up a finish off of a shelf, And if you read the back of the can, guys, sorry, you have to read the back of the can. If it says there's a curing time, use the finish. Allow it to cure. Maybe even wait a couple days beyond what they say the curing time is on this, product. And in my opinion, you've got a food safe finish. Why? Because it's cured. It's not venting those VOCs, which are considered volatile organic compounds. VOCs. If you say volatile compound to me, I automatically think flammable. And in most cases, that's exactly what it means. But let me explain something too. There's a difference between a finish drying and a finish curing. Finishes dry before they cure. The curing process can take up to a week on some finishes depending on what you're using. It may be dry to the touch within 4 to 5 hours, but it may take a week for that finish to actually cure. Read the curing time on your finish. If you're going to step outside of your governmental bounds for your own personal use, read the curing time on the finish that you're going to use. And then you wait a couple days beyond that before you actually use it. That way you're sure that all those toxins and all those things that have to vent out of a finish before it's actually fully cured are gone. At that point in time, I consider any finish that you buy off the shelf 100% food safe for my own personal use. There are some finishes out there, and I've seen videos on people that have mentioned products that there's no way in HE double toothpicks I would ever put on a piece of wood product that came in contact with food. Which ones aren't food safe? In my opinion, any organic oil, and by organic I mean any oil that is a derivative from plant life, and that goes from corn oil to peanut oil, to olive oil, to vegetable oil, all the way on down the line. Saffron, sunflower oil. And there's two reasons for that. One of them is that, first of all, like a nut oil, there are people that have nut allergies, and that's serious. You don't want to mess with somebody who has a nut allergy and put a nut-based oil on any kind of wood thing and have them drink or eat off of it, because they could have a reaction. That's an honest-to-God thing that could happen. But the primary reason is because oil-based finishes from organic substances will go rancid. They will spoil. The finish that you soak into your wood is going to go bad like rotten garbage, and your piece is going to smell. You don't want that, because not only is it not appetizing, but it could actually get you sick. Stay away from, if you can at all costs, organic oils of any kind, because those will go bad and they're just not a good idea. All right, if you will allow me, I'm going to put my old man glasses on. I'm going to read you a direct quote from a nationally syndicated magazine regarding woodworking, and it was from the Wood magazine. And if you don't think they have a team of lawyers standing behind them ready to protect their behinds, you're wrong. But the question regarding food safe finishes was asked, and they published in one of their issues the answer. Here's what they said. Don't take my word for it. This is what they said. It starts off saying this: wood finishes contains all kinds of chemicals that you would not want to put in your mouth, so you can't help but wonder if it's safe to coat a salad bowl or a serving platter with this stuff. The answer is, according to them, any commercial finish is safe once it has dried and cured. Key word, cured. Here's a look at some of the most common concerns. Somebody says, what finishes are safe for children's toys or projects that come in contact with food? Their answer: you can use any finish that's appropriate to your project, including varnish, lacquer, shellac, and boiled linseed oil. Before putting it to use, be sure to allow for complete curing. That's a chemical process that takes significantly longer than drying. Some kinds of finish cure by evaporation of their solvent, and some cure by reacting with oxygen. Either way, the process continues after a film has formed on the top. Well, how long does it take for various finishes to cure? I think we already covered this, but I'll go ahead and read it. The container label should give you the general guidelines about how long to wait. For example, one salad bowl finish recommends 3 days of curing after the final finishing step. It will be dry beforehand, but it takes 3 days to cure. One brushing lacquer calls for 7 days of curing before normal use. But remember that temperature, humidity, and application thickness can stretch those rules and increase your time. Just to be safe, add several days to any recommendations before putting the finished item to use. That's not me. That's Wood Magazine telling you, yes, it is food safe once it's cured. That goes for just about any finish you can buy off the shelf, in my opinion. And apparently, according to Wood Magazine. So if you want to concern yourself with what is food safe and what isn't food safe, I would concern yourself with the federal guidelines that regulate you if you plan on selling an item to the general public. If you're making something for your own home use that you will never sell to the public, never put anybody in jeopardy of, find out what you feel safe with and use it. That's all I have to say about food safe finishes. There are going to be people that vehemently disagree with Wood Magazine and my position on this. And that's fine, because you know what? If you disagree, it's going to be because you don't feel safe doing it yourself. And if you don't feel safe doing it for yourself, you probably shouldn't do it. Food safe finishes. Do your research. Make up your own mind. I've already made up mine. I'll talk to you later.